Okay, so good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everyone. In a few minutes, about to begin creating a YouTube video tutorial with Camtasia. We have a lot of things to do, but before we begin, let's give recognition to all our partners who made this event possible. Okay, so once more, thank you to our friends in PSME Parañaque chapter and of course, PSME Mechanical Design and Fabrication Technical Division. Also joining me this evening is our chairman, Sir Adrian Makasakit. Good evening, sir.
Hello, good evening, Sir Jomart, Engineer Jomart.
Ayan. So, yep.
Today.
How are you? Any updates on our division?
So far, so good. No? So we are still preparing. No? So ongoing yung mga preparations natin sa ating mga upcoming events. So we have one or two this April and May meron din tayong mga collaborations onwards. No? Yeah. So it's more on technical events, no? Technical presentations and sharings with uh, different technical divisions and sa mga student units natin, JPSME student units natin. So abangan nyo yan.
Ayan. Okay. So, yep. Have you heard about Camtasia, Sir Adrian? Have you tried
Uh,
video editing before?
so far, actually, interested. Hindi ko pa talaga siya na so I haven't heard of this, parang software in a sense, no? And actually, I am curious dati pa, paano mag-edit ng videos or how to create contents. I think this is a very, parang relevant and right time to learn this video editing. And not only for myself, pati din sa mga na rin, sa mga fellow engineers natin.
Ayan. Okay. So, yep. In addition, consider this as uh, a continuation to the previous multimedia content creation in Canva. So, this time, uh, last week, no? It was Canva. So, I guess this tonight, we got to know Camtasia. Okay. Sir, can you share to us more the platinum membership? Any idea on how this is?
So I guess yung platinum membership, I would rather let the national na lang to have so-called more detailed explanation. But in a way, it's so-called, ano ba yan, parang since 70 years, so 70 pesos as a promo, if I'm not mistaken, no? Para sa
Yes.
mga members natin for this year.
Yep. And to add, this is a great time, no, for those who are not active in our organization. Like, magkano talaga to? This is originally, I think,
Uh,
750 and
750.
700, diba?
Yes.
So the first zero was dropped, and now it's 70 pesos. So encouraging everyone to take a hold of this awesome value, no, or discount to be active again in our community and profession. So I'm seeing here MEs, CPMs, yeah, BSME graduates. It's only for 70 pesos. So I'm showing the QR code. Feel free to scan the code, and you will be redirected to a form. And in addition, if you want to have more info, I'm going to comment down the contact number of our Mido system membership. Ayan. So, yep. Without further ado, so Sir Adrian, feel free to ask questions, no? If ever, mahaba-haba tong paggawa ng YouTube video na to. Okay, so
Okay. All right.
I'll be sharing some a quick presentation for all. okay, on what Camtasia is. Okay? So, yep, yeah, ang taya, the speaker this evening is Jomark Bakiran. So, encouraging everyone to, yep, to connect with me in LinkedIn also, of course, to Sir Adrian Makasakit. Um, yeah, Camtasia is a very, very powerful tool, no? And videos, of course, as we can see nowadays, no? Seldom do I see the Gen Z, also millennials, di ba, Sir Adrian, na nagbabasa ng libro, and more people are tuning in when they want to learn quickly, 'di ba? We all head over to YouTube, 'di ba? And watch video to learn something. Okay? Like for example, not only learning not only educational materials, but of course, if you want to purchase something, 'di ba? You'll be looking for reviews um in YouTube. So I'm showing you some of recently we conducted a seminar for deaf ed teachers, and we're seeing a huge jump, no, of what they call edu creator. So I'm showing you some of the teachers that are utilizing YouTube to create learning materials for their students. Ayan. So, in addition to all who are present this evening, we'd like to encourage everyone. We'll be doing a raffle draw, encouraging everyone to comment down. Camtasia. Ayan, encouraging everyone. Camtasia. Simply type in Camtasia. Siguro, preferably all caps. Ayan, comment it down. Mechani Web. Okay? And PSME Platinum. Okay, ang price is we'll be giving away LinkedIn Business Premium subscription yan to our lucky winners. Okay, continuing. So, yep, for me, for those who are familiar with me, ayan, alam nyo, you're very much familiar that I do a lot of tutorial videos. Ayan, so I am also present I have video courses in Pluralsight. I recently checked in Udemy. I have, I think, ayan, 5,000, going to 6,000. And in LinkedIn Learning, I have 40,000 students learning, nagkataon, no? Because this is what our boss is currently pursuing to promote Fusion 360. But of course, I'm very much excited to move past Fusion 360 and share more learnings to you all, no? So, yep, so lahat po yan, all of these courses. Ayan, so if you would like to, ano din, no, to create courses, the software that we are using to create this video tutorials is absolutely uh, Camtasia. Okay, so also, I made a quick search with regards to, of course, this live event is open not only for, ano, diba? Not only for engineers, of course, but if you know someone who's jobless or who might be interested in having an additional gig or freelancing gig, I'm showing to you some of the opportunities. I made a quick search in LinkedIn for jobs that require skills that utilizes Camtasia. So, yep, Emerson. I also came from Emerson before. Emerson is an engineering company. Okay, IBM, IT company. We even have here Canva. Our friends in Canva. Senior learning designer requirement is also using Camtasia. So feel free to check out. So if you want to have, I guess, additional gig or a very powerful skill to have, the boss, okay, our managers prefer is, of course, you doing presentations. So I remember I was very adept with video creation. I was normally asked to do the extra mile by creating presentations, engineering presentations to our customers, vendors, and training for our fellow employees. It's a good skill to have, okay? And yeah, video creation nowadays is part of what they say as digital literacy. Digital literacy not only pertains about reading and writing, 'di ba? You are educated, literate when you know how to use softwares, computers, 'di ba? It says a lot. Okay? Uh okay, so in addition sharing to you my current setup. I made a picture, okay? The one on the left on the laptop is Camtasia, and I guess for tonight I'll probably be doing a video tutorial uh using Photoshop. Okay? I'm going to play with that. Let's play with Photoshop. So in a few minutes. Okay, so yep. Magnified view. In addition, if you're interested to, yeah, highly suggesting you download Camtasia. So this is the link. And if you're into this, we understand naman, no, diba? All things requires investment. So if you think video creation will improve your company's sales, 'di ba? Branding presence, social media presence, uh, yeah, so we really need to invest. No? Highly suggesting you purchase that, of course, the licensed software. So yeah, I'm going to share quick quick infos or facts, no, on why we should create video. So first one, four times as many people prefer to watch a video product rather than read about it when making a purchase decision. So I guess I have mentioned earlier, di ba? When I was planning to purchase a drone, Sir Adrian, I made a lot of I watched a lot of YouTube videos concerning that product. So, ayan. So even not only in YouTube but in TikTok, I'm seeing a lot now, a lot of companies adapting, no, TikTok to boost their sales, to have their brand presence. Okay, so moving forward, 2 out of 3 employees complete tasks better when instructions are provided visually, and they absorb information 7% faster. Okay, so ako din, no, like to all or uh, kapareho sa inyo, no, I'm a visual person, no. I prefer seeing, okay, coupled with hearing than just reading. So most especially, I guess, when you're into CAD softwares, of course, um, the learning curve, retention, mas mabilis. It would be much faster, of course, if you're watching a video, watching the keystrokes, the mouse gestures, than simply reading a book, 'di ba? About using AutoCAD, SolidWorks, Creo, and Fusion 360. So definitely video is the way to go. Yeah. Also, 7 out of 10 millennials are likely to watch a company video when shopping online. So let me add, when you're trying to instill a message, no, humans prefer a story. So isa yan sa those are some of the things that are very impactful when creating a brand. So I hope we can all remember or recall the commercials coming from McDonald's, ano pa ba yun? Jollibee, 'di ba? Those are very impactful storytelling, 'di ba? of course that are coupled with what they're selling. So in the case of McDo and Jollibee, yeah, it's food, right? So yep. In addition, learning and educational content are viewed over 1 billion times a day on YouTube. 'Di ba? We all have heard about SEO. So for those who are not familiar with SEO, search engine optimization, it matters. It very much matters nowadays. So for example, I am hiring a person, 'di ba? I made a quick search. It matters on the results that I will be seeing with regards to that person. And that organic search or reach is SEO. Okay? And we have to take note that the number one, 'di ba? The number one website, 'di ba? Search engine is, 'di ba? Can someone make a guess, 'di ba? The number one search engine is Google, and the number two, okay, can you guess what's the number two search engine? 'Di ba? The number two is YouTube. Okay? And they are all owned by Alphabet. 'Di ba? Alphabet. Okay? And there's really a boom, no? There's really a boom for I forgot the abbreviation, the MOOC, the massive online courses. So, like I mentioned, Udemy, Skillshare. So, ako, when I do a search about, for example, a particular CAD software, 'di ba? The bots will suddenly appear, or the ads will suddenly appear from Skillshare, 'di ba? Promoting this and that because they have this CAD courses in their library. And I guess the pandemic really gave us a lesson that the new normal, quote unquote, the new normal will not only involve face to face, but will definitely be bolstered by online, 'di ba? Online learning and videos. And yep, to relate that with SEO, 'di ba? Blog posts. Okay, so if you want to reach or to pull up your organic reach, notice nowadays if you're seeing a blog post in the internet, it's normally coupled, or a video is normally embedded in that web post. Okay, so moving forward, the best, okay, the best screen recording software for, 'di ba? May it be video tutorials, that's what we're going to do tonight. Meeting recordings. Okay, we will probably use Camtasia to condense this live stream version for those who will be interested to watch the replay. Of course, video lessons, explainer videos, okay, like let's say company employee onboarding, okay, so those are our instructions on how to operate a certain machine. That would be a good case for explainer videos. Yep, of course, how to videos, YouTube videos, webinar recordings, presentation recordings, okay, demo videos, training videos, instructional videos, of course, and uh, many more. I'll be showing you later on those possibilities with regards to using Camtasia. Okay, so I'm just sharing what I am currently using now. So you may all be probably uh, curious on the hardware that I am typically using when creating a video tutorial. So for me, this one is very old na. No, I'm using a Canon M50. The lights that you are seeing on my back, it's actually a RGB light. It's from Ulanzi. Okay. I'm also a musician. So good thing I can reuse my audio interface. Okay. And one last thing, of course, is a microphone. So the one here that I'm using is a Shure microphone. I guess this is cheap, 2,500. But of course, there are lots of very expensive microphones like the popular Blue Yeti microphone. So those are over $100 or 5,000 pesos. So in addition, the cool thing when using a dynamic microphone is mas okay siya. It's very much suited for spoken words and noise rejection. So uh, to demonstrate, I'm going to diba, turn to speak at the back of the microphone. So notice the difference of audio. So are you hearing this technical? Okay. So that's one of the reason that I opted for a dynamic microphone. And of course, it's much cheaper than a condenser. The difference with condenser mics are they are very sensitive, and you have to have a room really acoustically treated. Okay, unlike a dynamic microphone. So we have a dog on the other room. So you may probably still hear a little bit of volume from his barks. Okay, but these are my current setup. Of course, if you're serious and if you're serious into your game, you want a high quality. Of course, quality always. Diba? Suggesting you purchase a good microphone. So, yep, cameras are just an option. When I started out doing video tutorials, I was very very shy as well. So I prefer not showing my face. But through the years, I guess I acquired a bit of confidence. Ayan. And that confidence, yeah, you're seeing it right now, presenting to you. Okay. So moving forward, we have a learning group. If you want to have these conversations, learning conversations continued right after this live stream, inviting you to join us in LinkedIn and in Face uh, book. And, okay, um, ako din, no, although a lot may say na hindi ako mahihain, I really am very, very shy when I started out doing video tutorials. And you can see that in the first year of me doing YouTubes. Very, very lame, unenergetic, boring, very, very boring. So, uh, highly suggesting you take up public speaking, no? Mine, I developed my speaking my speaking habits. Of course, it's not perfect. Um, but Toastmasters and public speaking really helped me a lot uh, in conveying or speaking and teaching, okay, in video. So I recall that, yeah, even though I still feel icky or nahihiya, no, when I still sometimes, no, when I hear my voice, my recorded voice. So, yep, highly suggesting it will not only benefit your, of course, your teaching skills, but definitely your career, because public speaking is applicable, okay, to your business CEOs. Yeah, you want to be a CEO, you have to be good in public speaking. Yeah, and interviews. It's talking, it's communicating to a person. So, public speaking and suggesting you join Toastmasters. So for me, I live in the South. I joined BF community Toastmasters. Okay. So we have a registration form encouraging everyone to register. So uh, in the form, it asks for a link to your YouTube channels. So I'm going to subscribe then, no? Let's help one another for those who are interested to have yeah, to start out. It's never too late uh to start out, no? The best time, the best time to start something is not tomorrow. It is always now. So I'm showing you, I recently created another channel and now it has 4 subscribers. So I'm showing you the requirements. Diba? We've all, for me, I've seen a lot of from rags to riches, no? In YouTube. Okay, and to be successful in YouTube nowadays, it requires consistency. Ayan, so showing you, for you to have that monetization, it requires 1,000 subscribers. Okay, and public watch hours of 4,000. My experience on this is it's much easier to acquire 1,000 subscribers than watch hours. Of course, for my niche, okay, for my scenario, because of course, must definitely there's a more attraction to watch a funny video than watching a very serious educational video, 'di ba? So, uh, for us edu creators, challenging to unless of course highly suggested when you're doing YouTube, um, you create videos beforehand, so it should be all lined up. Okay, and it saves you, it frees you, it frees up, no, your time. Okay, so for those who would like to receive a certificate, we will be helping each other out. We will be suggesting all, ayan, we will be suggesting all to subscribe to each other's channel para we quickly, no, have that 1,000 subscribers right away. Okay, shout out to Chiki Amadi, yan, Raymond Mapalad of BFCom Toastmasters. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Okay. Yep. So without further ado, let me now launch Camtasia. Okay. So in addition, before this day, yesterday, okay, I was thinking of a topic for us to create a quick YouTube video tutorial, and I recall that we have an upcoming event as well, which is present like a pro tips on business presentation. Now, for this one of my job, the scenario here is uh, I am tasked, okay, to create a thumbnail. So that thumbnail will be used uh, as a thumbnail for this, okay, for this LinkedIn page. And in addition, this will also become a thumbnail for that YouTube video. Okay? And an advantage of using I guess using an Adobe software, okay, in comparison to some is I can quickly reuse a Photoshop file. Ayan, no? I can quickly reuse a Photoshop file to animation. Let's say I would like to have it animated, motion graphics. I can quickly import that to After Effects. Okay, After Effects is also Adobe and Premiere Pro. But for me, generally, when I work with Camtasia, I use those softwares. Premiere Pro, After Effects, Photoshop, and Camtasia. I use them all in conjunction. All in conjunction. So, but of course, having Camtasia alone is very powerful. Okay, so I have now launched Camtasia. 2022 version will be out, I guess, in April. Okay, so here we have the splash screen. Okay, I'm greeted here. Get started, learning help. Okay, so typically for beginners, highly suggesting, of course, we will be doing a video tutorial from scratch. Okay, I'm going to select new project. So here at the bottom, okay, you can see the rest of my recent projects that I am working on. So, yep, clicking on new project. Okay, so we're now seeing Camtasia. Okay, so before I tour you to its user interface, let me first introduce you, no, to the to Camtasia's recorder. Okay, so recorder is here on the upper right, and what we're seeing here is the shortcut key for this is record the screen, which is R. Okay, so I'm going to hit R. Ayan. I'm going to drag this recorder. Okay, I'm going to minimize everything. Ayan, so we're now seeing the recorder. Okay, and before we begin, because this is a screen capture tutorial, of course, I'm going to set my screen. Okay, so turning this slider on, off, and toggling this slider. So it says here 1920 by 1200. That is, which means my recorder is currently pointed at the display of my laptop. So I'm going to reduce, I'm going to select this drop down, okay, and instead choose 1280 by 720. So notice the options. For full screens, I've showed you earlier, I have three monitors, laptop, and two monitors, so three. So those are named as screen 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and it is currently pointed to screen 1. So let me change this to 1280 by 720. Okay, let me drag the recorder. Okay, so when I hit record, everything that is inside this dashed green line will be uh, captured. Okay, and the screen that you're seeing the recorder, okay, this is screen 3. And obviously screen 3 has a resolution of 1920 by 1080. Okay, so in this project, because nowadays it's common, no, for monitors having a resolution. But of course, if you do have a 4K or even an 8K monitor, 'di ba? You can do that. Okay, but for I guess the average, no, the average YouTube videos nowadays, or typically monitors, has a resolution of 1920 by 1080. Okay, so next, we have here, you're seeing EOS webcam utility. That is my webcam, the webcam that I am currently using. But if I select this drop down, okay, um, this USB 2.0 is the webcam of my laptop, and I have OBS virtual camera installed as well. So again, this will depend on um, the hardware that you have. Okay? So I think it's because uh, StreamYard is using the webcam. It is not revealing, no? Uh, the camera. Okay? So, yep. So, sadly, hindi ko siya mapakita. But if I turned off, I guess if I turn off this, lalabas siya here. Okay? So, next one, of course, definitely it's a video tutorial. So, again, we require a screen capture, screen video recording, and another one, an audio recording. Okay? So, I have turned on um, the microphone. So, here, again, it is dependent on the hardware that you have. So I am currently using a USB interface. Okay, a Focusrite. This one is old, second gen, and this one is the default laptop's microphone. Okay, and the other one, if you want to capture, let's say you're going to screen record a game. Okay, and that game has a background audio, background music. You wanted to capture the audio coming from what our recorder is pointed out. You may enable system audio. So if this happened to be a Premiere Pro tutorial, definitely I'll be enabling system audio. Okay, for our learners to hear, of course, the audio of those videos with Premiere Pro. Okay, so it is all mirrored as well under capture. So it is all checked. Notice the items checked. Let me turn on system audio. We don't have a need for this. Another important aspect before we start doing recording is under preferences. Okay, so showing you some of the tweaks that I prefer. So for me, I am very much used to recording. I prefer saving time. I don't want the recording countdown. So if you enable this, if I hit record, there will be a flashing of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's save time. I want you to right away be up and running. So of course, this one is a software tutorial, which means the cursor, the mouse gestures are all very important. And another tip is beforehand, we should all be aware of the mouse or the cursor's position because when we make additional clips, it would be, for example, my cursor is here and then you made another recording, the cursor is here. So it would be an abrupt change. So another tip is to be aware of the mouse or the cursor's location. So restore cursor location after pause enabled. Uh, do not capture recorder on screen. Of course, our purpose is to capture the software, no, not the recorder. So exit recorder after recording is stopped. Yep. Another suggestion: open editor after recording is stopped. So open editor is you will be redirected right away to Camtasia. So other things, files. So in the previous version, we have the option to customize the automatic file name. So I hope on the version for this year's 2022 version, hope it goes back, no? So I'm going to leave the temporary storage folder, but for the default output folder, it is highly suggested. So I have gone ahead ayan, and created a folder for this. Okay, so I'm going to copy its location. This one, no? Control C. And for the default output folder, I'm going to browse to that selected folder, Control V, hit enter, or I'm going to create a new folder for this, masking in Photoshop. Okay, so I've created a new folder. And copying its location, pasting it here. The name of the folder is masking in Photoshop. So the location of this folder is very important. And this is where we start to get ourselves organized. So this is where we are going to dump everything, every assets, every clips that are all related to Camtasia. Okay. Next, we're done with the default output folder under inputs. Okay, very important. So uh, let's keep okay the file size at a minimum. And by the way, the typical frames, FPS, not first person shooter, huh? Uh, frames per second is, of course, typically 30. You may have heard about 24. 24 is basically what our eyes are parang accustomed with, no? By default, our eyes are seeing things in a sort of 24 frames per second, and it's more, they say, cinematic looking. Okay. But of course, if you're creating videos like, let's say, action that has action, like for example, basketball, of course, it is much preferred that you have a higher frame rate. Okay. Ayan. Yes, sir. Yeah, the standard for film. Okay. Making things, if you set it at 24, it makes things more cinematic. But of course, this is a tutorial video. I'm setting this to 30. Okay, but again, if you're capturing high-speed movements, ayan, suggesting you set it to 60 frames per second. And recording encoder. Okay, very, very important. H2.64, of course, is the preferred one. If you're going to check um, for the recommended encoder for uploading videos for YouTube, it's H.264. But recall, we are in Camtasia. That's why it is preferred, okay, that you have the encoder set to TSC2. I guess this is TechSmith Camtasia 2. Okay? And recording dimensions. Yes, yes, yes. So 60 frames and higher. So if you have, of course, if you have a higher frame rate camera, definitely that would be expensive, no? Yep. For the camera, this is the default of uh, my webcam that you're currently seeing, and this is what is also the frame rate of my camera. Okay. So additional tips if you're using a mirrorless or DSLR. Again, if you're targeting to have the video at 30 frames per second, this is very important. The shutter speed should be times 2, which is because we're opting for 30 frames per second. I'm seeing here on my camera, the shutter speed is currently set to 1 over 60. Okay, so it's if you're opting for 24 times 2, so 48. So 1 over 50 or 1 over 48, depending on your camera, if it can go to 1 over 48. So for me, I am seeing my the UI of my webcam. It's currently set to 160. So very, very important. They should be at the same number. Okay, and for the shortcuts, I typically use a lot of CAD softwares, and to prevent accidental, no, or conflicts with regards to shortcut. This is not actually the default, no, but I customize this to F1. Okay, once more, F1 for record, pause, resume, stop, add marker, control M. But if I select restore, it's F9 and F10. So I prefer F1 and F2. Okay? So that is what I have been accustomed to with regards also to the softwares that I am using to prevent accidental uh, conflicts. Okay, so I guess if I can recall, F3 in F9 has a command in inventor, same with F3, Autodesk Inventor. Okay, so I'm going now to select OK. Okay, and yeah, as a quick demo, so recall I made the shortcut key to be F1. So let me now click F1. Okay, it's now recording. Let me say the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. I'm going to hit F2. Okay, and now because of the settings that we made after recording, it goes into our editor. So here's now our first recorded clip. Okay, so let me check. I need to share the audio for this screen. Okay, let me select stop screen, resharing my screen, sharing system audio. Okay, so guys, can you hear this? Can you please confirm, Sir Raymond, if you're hearing this? Okay, it's now recording. Let me say the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Let me say the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy. Are you hearing this? The question is, are you hearing this as stereo or as mono? Once more. Say the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. I am hearing this as mono. I'm hearing this only at my right ear. Can you confirm? What are you hearing? What are you hearing, guys? Is it left or right? The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. I'm going to say the quick. Okay, so again, this is dependent on your hardware. So my hardware records audio at mono. Let me say the quick. Okay, and on top at the media bin. So notice here the file name of this clip, and if I show you uh, the folder, our project folder, it is now saved here. Okay, so which means whenever we're doing a screen recording, that the file that is produced, okay, or generated has a file name extension of that uh, T-Rec. I call this T-Rec, T-Rex. I guess this is TechSmith recording, T-Rec. Okay, so whenever we do recording, it will, this folder or the folder that you have set this with or targeted, the default folder or target location, this will folder will be populated. And by default, we're seeing here the month, date, and year. So really hoping for the new version, they will give us the opportunity for customizing the automatic file naming. Okay, so let's now discover next uh, our editor itself. Okay, so let me create another recording. Let me show you the panel of StreamYard. I'm going to hit R, recall R. Okay, and I'm going to point out the recording area to, let's say, to my other screen, just for you to see a video. Okay, so I'm going to hit F1. Hi everyone, and welcome to Creating YouTube Videos with TechSmith Camtasia. Hitting F2. Okay, so that new recording is this file. Okay, I'm going to drag and drop this just for all to see a video. Okay, playing the video. Hi everyone, and welcome to Creating YouTube Videos with TechSmith Camtasia. Okay, so this will be our program monitor, and same as well with most NLEs. Okay, same with the rest of those typical video editing software. Okay, it has the timeline, the program monitor, and the for Camtasia at the left. Okay, showing you the libraries. So it has assets readily available. If you're doing typical things, suggesting you add it to favorites, we'll discover the rest of this no as we go along the way. Annotations, transitions, behaviors, animations, cursor effects. Later, we will do overdubbing, narration. We'll add audio effects and possibly, I guess, uh, visual effects. Okay, another thing very important before we begin is heading back to preferences. Okay, for under program. Okay, so feel free in the replay of this video, feel free to pause this and screen capture this to copy uh, my settings. But for me, I prefer disabling lock smart, mirror waveform. Okay. Uh, the most important thing for me here is at times Camtasia crashes. Okay, so I enable uh, autosave every minute. If there was an option to have this as zero point 0.5, which would be 30 seconds, but it's not allowed here. So we're at a minimum of 1 minute. Okay, for the timing, this is at default. Partners, this is at default as well. Shortcut, these are all at default for the project. Okay, so if moving forward, the resolution of your video would always be 1080 if that is what the job requires you to most of the time. So feel free to set it up. So again, for this instance, for me, I typically record the videos having a resolution of 1080. So setting this to 1080, 30 frames per second. And another important thing, by enabling auto normalize loudness, This is by default applying an audio effect. So it is much preferred you apply effects after you have trimmed the clips. Okay, that is where you apply those transitions, all those beautification, let's call it beautification or beautifying things. So highly suggesting you disable auto normalize. It is much preferred you hear the raw audio, of course, before adding an effect. Okay? For the advanced, if you're into, if you have purchased a license, uh, I think it has a free, there's a maintenance upgrade as well. So if you have purchased one, definitely you'll be notified for any upcoming latest version of Camtasia. So yep, uh, this is simply my preferred or suggested settings. Okay, next. So those are all in addition reflected above here. So notice this project is currently untitled. Okay. So best practice is to always save. Okay, save your project. Currently named as untitled project, hitting Control S. And let me point this out to the project folder that we have created a while ago. So pasting that location, hitting enter. And let's name this. Same with the tutorial topic or the video name, masking in Photoshop. Okay, so this one is also new. Create a standalone project simply creates a sort of folder that will house all assets related to your project. Okay, this was created to prevent broken links. Okay, so to prevent broken links, let's say, let me hit save for now. Let's say this file, okay, this T-Rec was deleted. When I open up Camtasia, it will give us an error, prompting us to search for this missing file. That's why, once more, it is very much important to have all those assets in the same folder. Okay, and it's always a nice thing to have things uh, organized. Okay, so heading back up. Okay, so these are just the magnification level. Okay, and the one that, recall that the one that we captured a while ago has a resolution of 1280, and our target project is currently set to 1080. Okay, and that can also be seen under or tweaked under project settings. Okay, and recall we have seen that auto normalize loudness that we have set a while ago. Okay, but if ever you have a need to change this, let's say you want this for uh, TikTok, so setting this to 720 by 1280. Okay, and selecting apply. So reverting back to our target resolution 1080, 1920 by 1080. So these two clips are just samples. So let's now begin creating uh, that quick video tutorial. Okay. So what I plan to teach, okay, my target video is showing masking. Okay, and I will be targeting, of course, Photoshop. Okay, so what you're seeing here is Photoshop covering the whole entire screen real estate uh, of my monitor. Another tip, okay, for assets, let me play around with the Pexels. So Pexels.com is one of those free, no royalty or copyright free. But of course, please always be mindful, most especially to audio. YouTube is very much strict with audio. Okay, so if you have a copyright strike, uh, you will lose the monetization opportunities if you're not using of your or if you do not have a specific right to an image or audio. So let me search out for person to be used as an asset for this tutorial. Hmm. Okay, so I prefer this two images. So again, the topic of this quick tutorial video is masking a portrait in Photoshop. Okay, left click. Let me just quickly save this image as, or simply select the free download. Okay, I prefer my preferred naming convention is adding up numbers to quickly I guess to make things organized for me. I could do a quick sort. So I typically use numbers at the front and then a description. So let's say man portrait. Okay, so showing you our project folder once more. Man portrait. Let's have another difficult thing to mask, which has a hair. This woman. Selecting download. 02. Say she. Portrait. Okay, downloaded. And I have gone ahead. Okay. I have gone ahead and downloaded an image. So once more, this image, the scenario for this is this asset will be used as a thumbnail for this upcoming event. Okay. So right now, I am currently internalizing what I am about to say. Okay. So this is an impromptu video tutorial creation. But of course, for me, I am familiar with what I will be teaching. But if ever you get into certain bottlenecks, we will discover voice uh, narration as well. So I don't have a need for this. Let's start a fresh slate plate. I'm going to delete these assets here as well because they are not present in our timeline. Control A, hitting delete. Okay. And with Camtasia, I'm now going to hit R. Okay. And now I'm going to point our screen recorder. So notice once more this uh, green dashed line. I'm going to set this to screen 3. Okay? So, in addition, if ever, okay, you're feeling nervous on what you're about to speak, under voice narration, you can type in here what you're going to say, or if you have a script prepared beforehand. For me, I prefer having a simply a notepad. Okay, so let me bring in our editor on my other screen and compose and think on what I am going to say. So again, this is masking in Photoshop. So I guess I'll be saying hi everyone. Create a quick script. Okay, so here's my opening statement. Of course, if you're very much familiar, you'll be recording in a span of more than a minute. But for me, I highly suggest that whenever you hit record, you're limiting yourself to only 1 minute, because moving farther from that, it would be a sort of tedious, as we edit that clip along the way. So uh, I'll be sharing more of that. Okay, I'm now prepared. Recall recorder is now all set. Let me now move this out of the way and prepare to record. Okay, I'm now going to hit F1. Hi everyone, today we'll be learning how to mask out or isolate a portrait image in Photoshop. Hitting F2. Okay, so showing you our results in the editor. Okay, so here's our first recording. Okay, another best practice. Let me hit R once more to grab our recorder. During my early days when recording, of course, very nervous. Whenever I hit F1, I started talking right away. Uh, but highly suggesting whenever you're recording, you leave a few seconds of silence, and after you stop speaking, you leave another seconds of silence just to have a buffer for editing. Okay, so we now have, so let me play this clip for you to see or hear. Hi everyone, today we'll be learning how to mask out or isolate a portrait image in Photoshop. Okay, can someone confirm what's the quality or status of the audio? So definitely, right? It's very low in volume. Okay? So typically, for me, I prefer separating the audio and video. So I'm going to select this clip. It's now highlighted in yellow. I'm going to right click once more, selecting the clip, right click, and selecting separate audio and video. Okay? What's important to me is the audio. So I prefer the track height for track 1 to be fairly at this height. But for the audio, I prefer jacking this up to a considerable visual height. Okay, so audio and video now separated. I'm going to select our audio. And what does everyone see? I'm seeing here a green line, green horizontal line. So this is the target audio or the preferred. This is the line that the peaks of our audio should be at the average. Okay? So recall once more, let me play. Hi everyone, today we'll be learning how to mask out or isolate a portrait image in Photoshop. Okay, so recall this is in mono and has a very low volume. Let's now discover or add audio effects. So shortcut key for that is D. So notice here we have a noise removal and notably audio compression. And because I have a better microphone, I don't have the need for noise removal. So that is why it is highly suggested if you're going to take this seriously, you invest in a good microphone. Okay, so let's improve this audio. I prefer adding compression. Okay, and to add effects, we're now adding effects. It's simply selecting our target audio, heading over to our audio effects window. Yeah, yes sir, Raymond. Yeah, 200 works for you if raw. Okay. So, yep, I'm going to add an audio compression. So, notice what happens as I hover my cursor over track 2. Okay, it adds compression. So, notice the change in the visual. Next, let me share that audio to you. Selecting play, hitting play. Today we'll be learning how to mask out. So, next, we need to increase the volume. And by selecting that audio, we now have, or we can now see the properties panel. Okay, and to have this as stereo, it's simply enabling mix to mono. Okay, and for the volume or gain, it's simply, I'm going to maximize this after 200. So notice at the average, we have now reached this horizontal line. So my peaks are now within the boundaries or the range of this vertical green line. Okay, so let me show you now the difference when those audio effects are added. Hi everyone, today we'll be learning how to mask out or isolate a portrait image in Photoshop. Hi everyone, today we'll be learning how to mask out or isolate a portrait image in Photoshop. Okay, so next, typical in YouTube videos is a quick brand intro video. Okay, so that intro video may probably let's create a logo with an animation of subscribe. Okay, so let's do that. Hey everyone, let's do a quick. So this is our opening statement, and then we show our brand intro video. Okay, so in addition, I have gone ahead in Photoshop. Okay, I have created an assets for my brand intro video. So here it is. Okay. So of course, if you don't have Photoshop, you have the free version of Canva. You can do this stuff as as well. So my plan is for my quick brand intro video is my logo appearing, a bit of animations, and a subscribe uh, animation. Okay, so in this section, I'm showing you the power of using other softwares to bolster or to improve your videos or your workflow together with Camtasia. But if you don't have, of course, let me now show you on the default assets that we have in Camtasia. So again, Camtasia has default assets, free assets, royalty free. So it's simply heading over to library. Okay, I'm going to head over to Camtasia 2021. And from here, uh, I am seeing icons. Okay, intros, lower thirds, motion backgrounds. Okay, so and yeah, it also has music tracks and outros. Let me show you a quick lower third. Okay, to bring in an asset from the library is once more left click and hold, drag and drop. Okay, so here's circle ripple 01. Okay, so in addition, yeah, I can add an intro of mine. Be
Also,
learning how to mask. Hi everyone, today we'll be learning how to mask out or isolate a portrait image in Photoshop. Okay, so if this happened to be a talking head video of mine, or yes, we can do that as well. So even if there's no talking head video, I can simply rearrange, okay, this lower third. And notice the difference of this clip with a track 2 and track 1. This clip is grouped, okay? And notice as this clip is selected, I have the ability on the left to customize its content. So let me scrub our playhead or current time indicator. So I'm seeing TechSmith, Camtasia. I can rename this to Jawmark, typing my name. And let's say content creator. Okay. I prefer having this after a few seconds of audio. So let's check. Hi everyone, today we'll be learning how to mask out or isolate a portrait image in Photoshop. Okay, so in addition, yes, we do. We can customize this default library assets. So what I did is I selected this plus button, open group. Okay, my target here is, I guess, the shapes. Okay, let's say I prefer for this shape, I prefer changing its color, let's say to green, or the rest of the shapes to green. Let's
Today
check.
we'll be learning how to mask out or isolate a portrait image in Photoshop.
Okay, so notice whenever we open up groups, okay, or nested groups, we are given tabs. So I can exit out of this groups by simply selecting the X mark. So going
Today
back.
we'll be learning how to mask out or isolate a portrait image in Photoshop.
Okay, in addition, I can shorten this clip up or lengthen this one. Okay, and now we're trimming a clip.
Today we'll be learning how to mask out or isolate a portrait image in Photoshop.
Okay, so going back to our brand intro video. Okay, let me bring in Photoshop. My intent here, this is one is already in position or placed. Okay, so let me show you the image size for this. Recall once more that our editing dimensions is 1920 by 1080. So very much important if you are starting to create a customized assets. Of course, this one should be set to 1920 by 1080 as well. Okay, so let me head back to that channel identifier. Let me check if this is in 1920 by 1080. Yes, it is. Okay, so the next thing that I am going to do, so we are now learning additionally Photoshop as well. But of course, this is just a bonus, a bonus tutorial. Going to head over now to our layers and export this individually. I prefer this method. Okay. And I prefer having transparency. So notice the checkerboard. Whenever you're seeing that one, you're seeing transparency. Okay. And to export this one out, okay, what I did to isolate layers in addition is I head over to layers, and on the target layer, specifically this eyeballs, I hit alt and left click. Okay, so next I'm going to export this out. I prefer the shortcut key, the old method, the legacy one, which is Control Shift Alt and S. Okay, so that is simply, where's that? That is simply once more, Control Shift Alt and S. That is simply save for web. So again, we're interested in having transparency. So enabling this to PNG-24. Again, highly important. Image size, making sure it's 1920 by 1080. Selecting save. Okay, let me dump this assets, of course, to our target folder. Okay, naming this 201 JMRC logo, having descriptive words. Okay, to revert back to reveal all, simply heading back to that isolated layer, Alt and left click. So this text, Jomark Bakiran and YouTube, the URL for my channel, this can all be created in Camtasia. So what I'm going to do next is simply export this YouTube logo out. Okay. So that YouTube logo is this layer 1. Alt and left click to isolate this. Control Shift Alt S. 02 YT logo. Getting back to Photoshop, Alt left click. Next, selecting the subscribe. So notice it is now highlighted. Okay. Alt left click. And I'm seeing it has a bit of transparency. So let's clean this up. Okay, I think I'm probably good with this one. Okay, exporting this out. Next one, I'm going to position this grade subscribe above. Okay, Alt, isolating this. This will be actually unidentifiable when this is exported out, being this small. Okay, exporting this, Control Shift Alt and S. 04 subscribe. Next, let's check out that pointing finger. Selecting this and isolating this pointing finger. Okay, so we now have the assets. Okay, so we now have the assets in our folder. Our next intent is to animate this up.
in Photoshop.
So taking note, in addition, the pacing of that audio.
Photoshop.
Hitting stop. I'm going now to split these two clips up, hitting S, the shortcut for split. It is actually way up here. Split S. Okay, so let's try to check out some backgrounds, or probably let's check out some of the items here in the intro. What's this? Fading squares. Okay. About line wipe. So again, these intros are all customizable. So feel free to enjoy and play with these assets. How about corner circles? What's this? Okay, so I prefer this intro video, and in addition, you may be wondering what's the duration of this clip. Okay, so to identify that, I'm going to park my playhead here and grab red this red the red thing that is beside our CTI, or current time indicator, or playhead. So notice this one has a duration of 8 seconds. I think that's okay. So moving forward, I'm going to.
In Photoshop.
So this is the point where our brand intro video will be appearing.
In Photoshop.
Okay, so again, I used a split. Okay, in addition, we can do ripple delete. But whenever you're utilizing ripple delete, please be very careful. You may have accidents on moving some items and getting clips into not in sync. Okay, but to create a ripple delete is simply selecting, for this instance, selecting these two clips, hitting control and delete. Okay, that's a ripple delete.
Shop.
Okay, so let's now customize this asset. Opening this up. And to zoom in Camtasia, it's hitting Control Shift and plus, Control Shift and minus to zoom out. Okay. Another one is simply holding Control and rolling your mouse wheel. I would like to identify or remove TechSmith Camtasia instead. Okay, let's resize our program monitor. And that is this shape. Okay, I prefer removing this and replacing this with our exported logo. And that logo is the Jawmark logo. In addition, we can bring over assets on media. Okay, I can right click, hit Control I, or double left click. In addition, I can simply grab a certain target asset, left click and hold, drag and drop. So notice grabbing this logo and dropping it here. Okay, our intent is to replace that shape. Another quick tip is always enable canvas snapping and enable playhead snapping. Okay, and that also turns on timeline snapping. Moving forward, let me extend this graphic and notice the logo is currently out of position. Let me left click and hold to move this. So notice it snaps. Notice those vertical and horizontal yellow lines. Deleting now this shape. Okay. And for that Camtasia, let's locate that text. It's probably in corner circles. Okay, that is this text, Camtasia. Let me double left click on this. Okay, now highlighted, and let me simply type in jaw mark. Okay, let's check. Heading over to main timeline. Okay, I would like to remove that TechSmith text. So this is that TechSmith text. Deleting this. And for this URL, okay, I prefer placing the link to our YouTube channel. Okay, double left click, typing in. Okay, let's check. Heading over to main timeline. Okay. Going over to corner circles. So scrubbing our playhead. And on this moment, I would like the logo that we have extracted, the YouTube logo, to appear. Okay, dragging in 02. Once more, prefer dragging and dropping. 02, drag and drop here. Snapping this to our playhead. Shorten this up, snapping it here. Let's zoom in. Let me nudge. Okay, to pan. So notice my cursor changes into a hand. Turn the program monitor to pan, it's simply hitting the space bar key. By nudging this, selecting our Y202 YT logo, nudging this to the right. I'm okay with this position. Let's check. Okay, so I think now is a good time, in addition, to apply another effect. Okay, let's head over to behaviors. So these are, and as I hover over to these behaviors, we're seeing a preview on what these behaviors do. Okay. I think I prefer a fade. Okay. So with U0 to YT logo selected, instead of dragging and dropping, I'm going to right click on our fade behavior. Right click, add to selected media, behavior added. Let's check. Okay. So in addition, we can customize behaviors. So with this logo selected, I can head over to behaviors, behavior properties. I can change its in and out and whatever hop happens in during. So if I prefer having this jump, let's check. Okay, see that? Next, let's bring in over our subscribe button. So showing you again the folder, drag and drop. I prefer the subscribe to also appear at this point. Okay, grabbing subscribe, drag and drop. Next, let's bring in over the pointing finger. Okay, expanding this, its duration. Next, I prefer adding behavior to our pointing finger. Heading over to behavior. And I prefer sliding. Let's check out sliding. Drag and drop to pointing finger. Okay. And I prefer at this point. Okay, our pointing finger will be a sort of depressing in. Okay, so I'm going to cut out or split our pointing finger at this point. Next, move a bit. Split this up once more. And this time, with the pointing finger selected, I'm going to drop its scale to, let's say, 80. Let's check. Okay, changing that value to 80 and nudging this down. Okay, notice that effect. And after that scale, we will turn that subscribe into a subscribed button. So bringing in over subscribed. So I actually made a a wrong spelling, but of course, I hope you're getting the idea. And from here, of course, well, we should interchange the position, okay, the stack of the pointing finger. So I'm going to move this above subscribed, selecting these two clips, pulling them both down, and let's check. Okay, let me expand our pointing finger up to here. Awesome. Okay, so we now have a brand intro video. Let me close this groups up. Okay, to zoom extents on the timeline, it's simply Control Shift and 7. Okay, let's check.
Hi everyone, today we'll be learning how to mask out or isolate a portrait image in Photoshop.
Okay, so now is a good time to discover. How about discover adding audio? So heading back to library. Okay, let's twirl down music tracks. Okay, how about a simple way? Let's check this out. Okay, a sweet feeling. Okay, that's kind of sad. Okay, I prefer this one. So let's now discover how to add an audio. So I'm going to pull this clip down, line gears of steel up with our track 2, left click and hold, drag and drop. Okay, let's check. I prefer, let's cut. I prefer cutting this audio on this segment. Okay, control delete. By zooming in, I prefer at this point, hitting S for split, deleting this section. Okay, so let's have the duration of this music up to this point. So hitting S, splitting this clip up. Okay, deleting this excess clip, zooming in, and let's do a fade out. Okay, shout out to Carlos Jose Obando. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this tutorial or live stream training is beneficial to you or to someone you know. Okay, so I prefer a fade out of 1 second, parking my playhead at the end. Okay, this time I'm going to tear out this green handle. I prefer having this at 1. Recall 30 frames per second. That's why after 30, it's now 1 second. Release. Okay. I'm going to head over to our audio clip. Notice the location of my playhead. I'm going now to right click and add audio point. Once more, this is a fade out. Okay. Any point On this area here, we'll do add another point, right click, add audio point. And now I'm going to pull or drag this point down, okay, up to this edge. So giving us a fade out.
in Photoshop.
Okay, so from here, we can now resume, okay, to our main video tutorial. So I'm going now to head back to Photoshop. Okay, showing you Photoshop. And of course, recall our last frame is this frame. So this one should also appear here. Okay, so we have to head back to Photoshop and revert back to all of that visuals. So I'm now going to close or to head over to Untitled 4. Okay. In addition, there's no existing tab as Untitled 1. So I'm going to delete this. Okay, so we have a mistake. Okay, I'm going to show you how to clean up the appearance of that channel identifier if ever we'd like to. Now I have a problem. Camtasia is going way out ahead. So let me just relaunch this. I'm going to close this and relaunch. Of course, hitting Control S for save. And another tip, I prefer doing things or closing applications up in the task manager. So Camtasia working hard. Okay, I'm going to end this process up and relaunch Camtasia. Okay, here it is. And of course, we can still adjust an audio by grabbing, just to add, grabbing this horizontal line. Okay, I can reduce the overall audio for this music track.
in Photoshop.
Okay. And to nudge our playhead per frame, it's simply hitting the comma. Okay. Comma, moving it to the left, the period moving to the right. I prefer having a visual cue. So I move one frame from the end. Okay, so going back, hitting R. And thinking what I am about to say. So again, checking. And the location of my cursor at the middle. So notice it's at the center of the frame. Okay, recalling.
how to mask out or isolate a portrait image in Photoshop.
Okay. Preparing to record. Okay, my recorder is up and ready to record. I'm now going to bring
In Photoshop.
so composing myself. So if ever you're having difficulty of what you're about to say, feel free again to write a script. Okay, the advantage here, it's not a talking head. So again, let me, okay, hitting F1. Layer masking a reversible. Okay, I made a mistake. Okay, let me hit restart. Deleting the recording. Hitting F1. Layer masking is a reversible way to hide part of a layer. I'm going to bring in two images. A portrait image. Hitting enter. Another one is a gentleman. Left click and hold, drag and drop. So let me move this gentleman over here and our lady over here. Hitting F2. Okay, so let's bring in those clips into our timeline.
A reversible way to hide part.
Okay, so once more, take note of the pacing. Okay, the flow. So this is too much of a silence. I'm going to delete this section. Separate audio and video. Right click. Okay, add our or make a preview.
Layer masking is a reversible way to hide part of a layer. I'm going to bring in two.
Okay, adding our favorites. So I'm a frequent user of this effects. So to add a favorite, okay, so it's simply, let's say, under animation or transition. I can simply select this star to add it as a favorite. Okay, so adding compression. Okay, with the audio selected, enabling mix to mono to have this as stereo, jacking this up to 250. Let's check once more.
Layer masking is a reversible way to hide part of a layer. I'm going to bring in two images. A portrait image. Hitting enter. Another one is a gentleman. Left click and hold, drag and drop. So let me move this gentleman over here and our lady over here.
Okay. So once more, take note of that pace. I'm going to hit S as a reminder that I would start at this point. In addition, if ever, like for this one,
Another one is a gentleman. Left click and hold, drag, and
Okay, so this one is I moved away from our microphone. So this is a good instance to do overdub.
left click and hold, drag, and drop.
Okay, so up to this point, I'm going to split this audio track up to this point.
Left click and hold, drag, and
Now we're going to do overdubs. So once more, in addition, you don't have to worry if ever you have a mistake. Okay, for audios, we can always do a voice narration.
left click and hold, drag,
Okay, so heading over to voice narration, shortcut key for that is V.
left click and
So I'm going to say left click and hold, drag and drop. And always be mindful of the microphone that is enabled. So for us, our target microphone is analog 1+2. And it is highly suggested that when you do voice narration, you move back up.
left click and hold, drag,
Okay, so selecting start voice recording, left click and hold, drag and drop. Selecting stop. Okay, so this is another file that we have created. And again, another best practice is to save this into our project folder, naming this to 01. Again, this is an M4A sound file, not MP3. So positioning this and splitting this up. I'm going to delete these two excess parts. Okay, and we can also do a ripple replace. Okay, so I would like to this 01 audio to inherit all the properties of this audio section, which has an audio compression, mix to mono, and gain. So it's simply, I'm going to left click 01, left click and hold, pulling this down. So notice it's now, or the clip, the track 2 below is now green. I'm going to release and select ripple replace. So with ripple replace, it automatically once more inherits the properties of, okay, the track that it will replace. So again, audio compression, mix to mono, and gain instantly applied.
is a gentleman. Left click and hold, drag, and drop. So let me move this gentleman over here and our lady over here.
Okay, so moving forward, let's now prepare. Okay, so notice I am recording sections by a few seconds. So again, in this instance, this recording is, or this clip is at the range of 30 seconds. Okay. And yes, Sir Raymond, of course, it is much preferred that you have, I forgot the term, for the plosives. Yes, yeah, and that's why it is highly recommended that you record things in a few sections so that you don't have to record those plosives and breathing in and breathing out.
One is a gentleman. Left click and hold, drag, and drop.
So I'm having problems here, a crackling sound. So that is a problem, a personal problem for me on my hardware. Of course, it varies on your hardware. But if you're using Focusrite like mine, I will be restarting uh, Camtasia, okay? And for the buffer size, okay? So just to add the buffer size, this pertains to latency, which is the delay of doing real time going into the computer. So if I reduce this to 16, that would be more processing power for the computer. And if I head all the way up to 1024, that is less. But of course, this is a balance between performance and latency. Okay, so if ever, guys, you're having slow crackling sounds, please check or reduce your buffer size.
Drop. So let me move this gentleman over here and our lady over here.
Okay, next, composing myself, thinking what's the next thing that I am going to say. But of course, heading back to Camtasia, hitting R for record. Okay, recorder now on standby. It's always a nice thing to have, which is having multiple monitors. Okay, when you're doing Camtasia, highly recommended. You have for me, if I have the resources, I would definitely prefer having four monitors. So, what's next is again the topic is masking. Okay, checking again what was the last things or sentences that I
And hold,
said.
drag, and drop. So let me move this gentleman over here and our lady over here.
Next, let's isolate this gentleman, removing him or removing. Okay, I made another mistake. Next, let's isolate this gentleman, removing him from his background. To do that, it's simply heading over up to, okay, I'm okay with that, hitting F2. So again, it's bits and pieces. Okay, bringing in our next clip. Adding audio compression once more. This will depend if the audio or the hardware you're using gives you good audio results. No need to add this effects. Again, the pacing, removing too much of silence.
Lady over here. Next, let's isolate this gentleman, removing him from his background. To do that,
Okay, there's too much of a silence here. Notice the pacing. I'm going to delete a small section. S for split. Okay, ripple delete, selecting these two clips, control delete.
ground. To do that, it's simply heading over up.
Okay, so here I made a mistake. It should not be edit. It should be under subject. But of course, for subject, we need to isolate the subject first, which means isolate the layer.
Background. To do that, it's simply heading ground.
I will do another recording for this section. Okay, to do that,
To do that,
recall where my cursor is. Okay, it's under his nose.
To do
Okay, hitting R. To do that, let's first isolate our man portrait, heading over to layers, hovering over this eyeball, holding Alt and left click. Next, heading up, under select. And to instantly remove the background of this portrait, it's simply selecting subject. Notice here, hitting F2. Okay, so once more, again, these are bursts of recordings. Okay, I'm going to delete this section up, add our new clip. Okay, separate audio and video, adding those effects. Next to mono.
to do that, let's first isolate our
Okay, again, the pacing, removing too much silence, it will bore our learner.
from his background. To do that, let's first isolate our man portrait, heading over to layers, hovering over this eyeball, holding Alt and left click. Next, heading up, under select. And to instantly remove the
Okay, too much of a silence here.
select. Heading up, under select. And to instantly remove the background of this portrait, it's simply selecting subject. Notice here,
Okay, in this instance, I can do simply an overdub as I will not be doing so much of a mouse or gesture movement.
subject. Notice here,
Okay, so I'm going to split this section up. Hitting V for voice narration. And to prevent myself from stumbling, I can simply type in what I would like to say. So again,
notice here,
notice the marching ants denoting Photoshop as identified ed selected our target subject, which is the gentleman. Okay, so from here,
selecting subject.
okay, so in this silence, I can also add
Selecting subject. Selecting subject. Notice here,
Okay, I'm going to park my playhead here and do another voice narration. Photoshop now identifies the object, subject, and place. Notice the marching ants denoting Photoshop has identified and selected our target subject, which is this gentleman. Okay, renaming this to 02, splitting this audio by deleting these two clips, pulling this audio down, adding compression, mix to mono, acting subject. Photoshop now identifies the object, subject, and place. Notice the marching ants denoting Photoshop has identified and selected our target subject, which is this gentleman. Okay, so we need an extra frame for this audio. Now it's simple. I can move backwards, split this section up, and create multiple copies. Okay, another technique is subject, which is we can extend the frame of this clip by simply right clicking and extend the frame. So let's say I need at least 2 seconds of extended frame. Okay, Shift E, shortcut for that. So duration of shot 2, hitting enter. Gentlemen. Okay, the problem with this is it's not moving anymore, but still I am showing you another technique, if ever, of extending a frame. Now there are instances, but on major platforms like Udemy and LinkedIn Learning, they do not prefer zooming in, but popular in TikTok, okay, moving into a specific area. So let's say Photoshop has identified at this section where we head over to isolating the layer. Okay, at this section, our man portrait, heading over to layers, hovering over this eyeball, heading over to layer. Our man portrait, heading over to layer. Okay, heading over to layer. So I prefer zooming in to this portion. Okay, to do that, it's simply heading over to animations. Okay, I can move this slider, increasing its zoom size. So notice an arrow was added here. And if I move back, our man portrait, heading over to layers, hovering over this eyeball, holding Alt and left click. Next. Okay, so it would be best at this instance that we head over or head back to scale to fit. So it's simply parking my playhead here, selecting scale to fit. Okay, let's check. Layers, hovering over this eyeball, holding Alt and left click. Next, heading up, under select. And to instantly remove the background of this portrait, it's simply selecting subject. Photoshop now identifies the object. It's simply selecting subject. Okay, so yes, another tools that we have at our disposal to convey our message. Okay, learning message is adding annotations. So to add annotations, let's say for subject, we would like to highlight that up, it's simply heading over to annotations. I prefer, okay, I prefer using sketch motion. Let's say this rectangular sketch, drag and drop. It's simply selecting subject. Okay, let's move this to subject. Roll my scroll wheel, zooming this, resizing our sketch motion. Okay, let's check. It's simply selecting subject. Okay, trimming this down. In addition, we can also add transitions to our effects. So notice it's an abrupt change. I can head over
Photoshop
to
next.
transitions. I am looking for fade. Okay. To add transitions, it's simply the same. Left click and hold, drag and drop. Okay, so notice the yellow highlight. If I release at the middle, it adds fades to both ends of our clip. This time I prefer only at the right end. So to do that, once more, left click and hold, hovering over the at the end and release. It's simply selecting subject. Now identifies the object subject in place. Notice the marching ants denoting Photoshop has identified and selected our target subject, which is this gentleman. And gentleman. Okay, so another tip is there may be instances that you want to blur or pixelate sensitive items. So just a quick demo. I'm going to park my playhead here. Let's say I would like to blur out, okay, the face of this gentleman. Okay, it's simply heading over to annotations under blur and highlight. Okay, I can add a spotlight as well, a highlight, or a pixelate. So for demonstration purposes, let's blur out. Okay, once more, grabbing blur. And this comes as a rectangular blur. So I can resize this. Okay, and under intensity, okay, we can dial this down or up. Okay, and again, to demonstrate pixelate, okay, once more, it's a rectangular effect. Feel free to resize and adjust the intensity. Subject. Okay, so those are the typical things or the typical tools that we use in creating a video tutorial, okay, that utilizes screen captures of softwares. So I will not bore you with this lengthy tutorial, but I will do send the final output, okay, for this video clip. Okay, so for those who will be watching the replay, we will be giving out uh, this course. Okay, this course absolutely free to those who has registered. Okay, so this one is an in-depth showing you a very lengthy, I think I made a YouTube video tutorial that is 19 minutes long. So for those who have registered, we will be giving away this course absolutely free. And to continue this conversation, we will be answering all your comments, all your questions uh, in the comment uh, section. So once more, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. We hope you have learned. No, we have learned something new. We hope you were inspired in using Camtasia. Okay, to create educational videos, tutorials. Okay, and before I leave, inviting everyone to our upcoming events. Okay, this is tomorrow, right?
No, five.
I on the 5th. Okay, on the 5th. So we have an upcoming events for AutoCAD. Okay, so Autodesk Inventor. Okay, we have another event. Okay, Autodesk Inventor. What else? Of course, present like a provisor, Ian uh, Santos. And lastly, we will be sharing some tips and tricks on how to uh, create or do a live stream. So using StreamYard. So in this live stream, we are utilizing StreamYard. So once more, encouraging everyone, for those who have registered, we will be giving away this course. And of course, this course was made in Camtasia. Also, if you are serious in elevating your A game, encouraging you or challenging you to take up Camtasia certification exam. And this exam comes free whenever you purchase Camtasia. So for those who are interested in purchasing Camtasia, please contact our friends in MechaniWeb. And of course, please connect with me in LinkedIn if ever you have further questions. Okay, so once more, thank you so much. And I hope to see your reviews, responses, and questions on this course and the live training. Okay, sharing you another the course trailer also made in Camtasia for the free course that we are going to share to all who have registered.
You may have heard about people earning money in YouTube. And now you would like to jump in and take the serious challenge. One of the key disciplines to be successful in YouTube is consistency. That is, consistency in creating videos for the long run. In this course, let's couple consistency with speed. And that speed is speed in creating awesome videos. Introducing Camtasia. Camtasia is a simple, easy to use, and easy to set up all-in-one screen recorder and a video editor. It will help you speed up creating awesome and professional-looking videos in no time. Hi, my name is Jomark. I am a content creator and for years an instructor with MechaniWeb, a TechSmith authorized reseller. In this course, I will share my workflows and strategies in creating videos using Camtasia for YouTube. Some of the topics in this course are tweaking the settings of Camtasia and its recorder for success, creating a talking head video, creating a brand intro video, and utilizing voice narration, and many, many more. Log in or sign up and let's get your first YouTube video uploaded.